What's going on, guys, and welcome back to Graded Investors. It's been a while since we've done a what's going on in the hobby. So I wanted to talk a little bit about a few things. I have opinions. Everyone has opinions, right? All of our opinions are valid, at the very least to us, right? So if you've thought through your opinion, it matters to you. Maybe it doesn't matter to the rest of the hobby, but it matters to you. Today I want to talk about something that I don't think should be that controversial, but for whatever reason we have a lot of zealots in the community who really believe that there's only one right way to do things, right? Whether it be if you're collecting cards to make money, you're doing it the wrong way. And I go, I don't think that's true. I think that people should be able to collect to make money. People should be able to collect because they love their guys. People should be able to collect just because they like to flip the card. Like, however you like to collect, it's valid and it's important to you, and you're a part of the ecosystem, right? You're a part of the community. You're a part of everything that's going on that we do out here. I mean, the fact is we need breakers. We need hobby shops. We need Panini. We need, Future coming up. We're going to need Fanatics to do a good job. We need everything that brings everything together, right? And so the idea that, hey, listen, we only need this 20 or 30%, the other 70% should get lost. The fact is that if people only collected cards because it was fun to collect, that community would get smaller and smaller and smaller over times, like people who collected Beanie Babies, right? Beanie Babies had a little flash where there was some value to them and there was some excitement around it, and then, right? And I know that Beanie Babies specifically, and I'm not attacking that community, I'm just saying it's a smaller community than it was at one point. There's still a lot of value in some of those very, very old ones, but now it's more like they're antiques, right? Even though they're 20, 30 years old. But like the Princess Diana one's worth a lot of money. Not everything is. So let's jump into what I wanted to talk about today. You guys can see it on the screen already. In case you guys are curious, I am be the protagonist of your own story. I don't necessarily get on Graded Investors and go have arguments with people. And I don't intend to have an argument, but let me go over kind of what happened, and you guys let me know what you think. Maybe I stepped over some lines. I have no idea. I like to shoot shots, and not everybody knows that I'm joking. But in this case, I was actually being kind of serious. So this is DK Card Addicts. He's actually a part of the community. His name is Dan. Nice guy. He hasn't bought into any breaks yet. He kind of has the guys he likes, but I met him on Twitter. Big hobby community on Twitter. If you guys want to keep up with information, great place to go. Always can come back to these videos. Appreciate you guys checking out the video. Next part of this, we are going to talk a little bit about where we're at with Select and kind of how I think things are going down. I'm going to share a video and we're going to talk about it. So he says, hey, just got these slabs back from Tag. Tag does it right. Beautiful. Big thank you to Sean. I'm assuming Sean, which is this guy down here a little bit lower, I have a feeling that he owns, operates, runs. I have no idea. He's a zealot. He believes in Tag. And you guys know I'm a PSA guy, but I will be whoever does it the best. Just to me, PSA, as of right now, does it the best. So Matty Ice says, I think Tag is going to eventually overtake PSA as the biggest grading company. Now, when I hear that, I hear they're going to grade more cards than anybody else in the market. Right? Because I'm going to show you guys real quick. This is the data. Okay? PSA last week, not month. They're doing nearly 1 million a month. Last week alone did 178,000 cards, right? Almost 179. That's more than the rest of everybody forever always, right? Like the whole rest. So this is the 6.1. That's the kind of the bottom end. I mean, CCG, CSG, CGC. I mean, they're a relatively large groups, but only did 6.1K. Beckett did 9.7, and SGC did 23.8. So he's saying they're going to overtake PSA. Okay, cool. It's possible, right? There's two ways that it happens. Either PSA absolutely takes a dive, or Tag goes through the roof, and they're going to meet at some point, right? One going up, the other going down in theory. But starting at nearly 1 million cards or 1.2 million a month, they got a long way to come down, and Tag has a long way to go up, because I bet you Tag's doing 1,000-ish cards a week. So anyway, so here we go. I said someday, like 20 years from now, which I actually think is realistic, and I'm going to show you guys why. So SGC, the company that does sports cards, started in 1998. Okay, we're coming up on 25 years. Wow, it's actually more than 25 years. We're coming up on 30 years, right? Like they're at 25 years this year, right? So they're a 25-year-old company, right? PSA started in 1991. You can see that right there at the top. PSA 1991. And sorry, SGC, I got to scroll down so you guys can see it. 1998. It's right here. You can barely see that. But PSA started in 1991. So you're talking about a 32-year-old company, right? So PSA's been doing it for 32 years. SGC is at 25 years, right? And so I look at a company like Tag. Listen, the slab kind of smacks, right? Like just a clear slab. Everything is clear. It's kind of cool. I don't know if you guys have looked into Tag, but allegedly, again, I don't believe anybody is at 100% PSA. Sorry, I apologize. 100% artificial intelligence. I don't believe anybody is there, right? And I've used AIs. I think a lot of us have dabbled in trying and testing AIs. They're not perfect, right? Plus, AI is built and designed by humans, correct? We build and design the AI, then hopefully the AI learns and gets better than the original design. But for all intents and purposes, even if they've run through a million cards, right? Like there's just so many different variations and everything that humans have to touch these things. So I'm going to zoom in so you guys can see it. Let me see. I'm going to squeeze this up. Whoops, wrong way. There we go. So you guys can see this really quick, but Dan is a huge Giants guy. At least I've seen him buying a number of Saquons, right? You can see it's a clean look. In here, you can see it says 951. So they actually grade to the 1000, right? 1000 would be perfect. Anything over a 951, right? So 951 is the edge of what would get a 10. 962 is the edge of what would get a 10. I actually think it's really cool, right? I think it's cool. I think it's smart. I think they're doing a good job. And I think that this actually better helps people to understand where PSA is at. Look, you wouldn't call this a 9.5. You'd call it better than a 9.5, so it rolls to a 10. And if it was less than this, these guys call it 9.5. PSA would roll it back to a 9, right? But cool slabs. I just want to show you guys they are cool slabs. They do a good job that way. They are cool slabs. I said maybe someday, like 20 years from now. Again, first off the bat, he took offense to it, I'm sure, right? He said, you should pin this response so we can all come back and revisit this subject. TikTok, if you know, you know, right? So he's like, we're awesome, you suck, okay? I have other arguments on Twitter. It's Twitter. You're going to have some arguments. So how is your name be the protagonist if you're an antagonist about this subject? My response, the name is be the protagonist of your own story, doesn't mean that we aren't antagonists in other stories. I get that Tag is doing a lot right. Do you know how many cards they graded last month? Do you know how many PSA did? The gap is wide. And it will be for a while for them to get to number one. He said, you know what? That's fair. Don't know what the laughy face is, but whatever. I understand the gap is large, which is why I said someday, but for sure not 20 years from now. Here's a question for you, though. How many cards is PSA grading? Because PSA, for the time, is being more diverse. He's just trying to say that they grade more than just cards, right? No problem. I agree, they do. I said, good question. I'd assume 80 to 90%, but I don't have that data. SGC, other companies grade other things as well. I think that strengthens the view to the hobby, right? Because not only are they grading sports cards, they're grading Pokemon cards, other collectible cards, but they also grade baseballs. But do you really think, like anybody out there, put in the comments, right? What percentage of what PSA does of the 100 and something thousand that they grade on a weekly basis, right? You're talking almost 200,000 cards a week, or 200,000 items a week. I mean, how many of those are baseballs? How many of those are packs of cards unopened? I don't think they grade a large amount of that stuff. I think it's happening, but I think it's less than 10%. That's what I think. I don't have data to support that, but based on what I've sent in and what I've seen other people send in, that's kind of where I'm at. Yep, and if you look at the gem rate data for the last 2 months, you'll see that the numbers are, for almost all grading companies, are going down week over week, month over month. I wonder why that is. First of all, he says last 2 months. Well, it is July, so he's referring to May and June, which are the beginning of summer. And guys, we all know most industries take a drop going into summer, right? There are very few industries that go, oh, it's summertime? The water balloon industry does very well in summer. Maybe the super soaker industry does well in summer. I said last 2 months are in a downward trend. Tag may be that grading company, right? Like he really believes in Tag. He thinks they're great. And that's awesome. I like when people have something they like. I'm not trying to shit on it, take anything away from it. I'm not trying to be negative in any way, shape, or form. All I'm saying is temper your oh, no, that's me. Sorry. Boop, boop, boop. Yeah. Last 2 months are in a downward trend. It's summer, normal. Tag may be that company. All I'm saying is temper expectations. HGA was where Tag was 2 years ago. And this is something that he takes ultimate offense to immediately. But for any of you guys out there, dude, we remember HGA. HGA back in 21, 22, like everybody wanted to get on that HGA train. We thought HGA might overtake PSA. Dude, PSA was in gridlock. PSA wasn't getting cards out the door at that time. I thought there was a chance for HGA and other companies like them to take a huge step forward. The only company that seems to even have really taken advantage of it is SGC, and they're doing a great job. They're still doing about 14-15% of what PSA is doing, right? And that's not an insult to SGC. That's just telling you that PSA is that big. He says, LOL, numbers go down in the summer. The numbers skyrocket before the National. When people say things like this, I just go, huh. Not. Anyway, I get very frustrated because, like, I get it, dude. You want the data to support what you're saying, but the numbers for sports cards in general slow down during the summer. Anybody who's selling on eBay, you're seeing less views. Like, there's just less. We all got things going on, right? We're taking the kids. I'm taking the kids next weekend to Nashville. The weekend after, we're going to Florida. Like, everybody's got stuff going on. Yes, we still do card stuff, but we're not doing it as hard as we do it the rest of the year, right? Come September, October, life starts slowing down. We all dig a little deeper into sports cards and other things we love. Football's back, all that kind of stuff. Yeah. I said they do skyrocket before the National, as that is in the summer. Please go and pull the data. You're a zealot. I hope you're right. I love competition because the consumer wins, but you're the hater, not me, right? The main thing I'm trying to say here is, like, I'm not hoping Tag fails. Dude, I would love for there to be two big guys. Tag, PSA, SGC, whoever. Because that's going to make PSA better, which I prefer. But the main reason I prefer them is, one, they do a better job than anybody else, right? And I mean, if we were to create metrics, right? Metric number one, resale value, right? Metric number two, communication, okay? PSA is hit and miss there, but the bottom line is I can go pull data at any time and know where my cards are in the process. Now, can I get somebody to get on the phone with me? No. Can I get information on why my card graded poorly? No. But I can know where I'm at in the process, and other companies don't have that. BGS, as an example, I just posted the other day, absolutely terrible. So he then goes on to say, I am a zealot. I absolutely hate PSA, but not because they are the competition. Let me be clear. I hate PSA because they forced me into the arms of another lover? Yeah. So here's the thing. He's being like, he's trying to paint a picture, right? He's saying their hubris and arrogance forced me to move on. We begged them to do better. They flipped us the bird. Dude, PSA absolutely took a shit. End of 2020, right? They had 30,000 cards. They were backed up. 100%, I don't disagree that they absolutely took a shit. With that said, they fixed a lot of their problems. And not kind of. They're pumping out nearly 200,000 cards a week. I mean, if you think about those numbers, right? So I did the math. I'll do it. Quick math for you guys, right? 200,000. And mind, I know they're a little bit low. They're 23% lower right now. But that's in 30 days. Guys, that's like almost 6,600 cards a day. Every day. 30 days. 24/7, 30 days a month. I mean, no other company is doing that. There are companies doing 6,000 in a month. They're doing 6,000 a day. So, could they do better? Yes. Were they doing better? No. Are they doing better now? They are doing better now. And that's the bottom line. The one thing I can tell you is I deal with the Discord channel hourly. I don't know what he's talking about. I don't know what Discord channel he's talking about, but the one theme is we're done with the big four. I don't know what that means. Because for me, there's really only three. I mean, unless he's talking about like CGC. But there's PSA, SGC, which I think, you know, if you like SGC, I don't prefer their slab. I think they look clean, but in your hand, they're bigger. They feel clunky. But I think SGC is a great company. I really do. I think Tag might be good. I hoped HGA was going to be good, but the common theme is we're done with the big four. There's really only three. It's BGS, SGC, and PSA. And really, there's PSA and then those other two that do it as well. Like, and I'm not trying to be arrogant, but look at the numbers. The numbers support PSA does more than anybody else, period. We want affordable prices. This is where I think he's wrong. So just today, I got a message from PSA, and we just had another card get upcharged. This one got upcharged to $1,300. I get it, that one sucks, right? Takes it right on the chin. But it's a $15,000 card that got a 10-10. Auto 10, card 10. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. It's a $15,000 card that they charged a little less than 10% to slab it. But it's a $15,000 card because of that. The person who bought this card, I think he told me $3,100. I think he's in it $3,000, right? He's in this card $3,000. It's a Brock Purdy, so it's not like it's an old card. He bought it this year, and the most recent 10-10 sold for over $15,000. He's good with it. He doesn't have a problem with that. Now, in a tag slab, what does a 10-10 Brock Purdy of this same card sell for? Do you think he loses $1,000? Do you think he loses $2,000, $3,000, $4,000? How much less does it sell for? Now, on the flip side, let's talk about all the cards that PSA does for $19 a card. Now, mind, if you guys go through us, which we love sending cards in, we clean the crap out of them, we make sure that they look good, right? Every card that leaves this house looks good. You can check out our numbers. We put up numbers, right? We are very honest. Our gem rate is close to 50%. Oddly enough, for this guy who sent in 4 downtown Brock Purdy's, 1 was gold, 3 base, or it's weird to say base, but like normal Brock Purdy's. And then he sent in cracked ice out of 13 contenders auto. All 5 of those cards got 10s, with the auto getting a bonus 10. So above average, right? But on the $19 cards, which cover up to $499, right? Which is the majority of cards, right? If you have a nice Brock Purdy numbered to 50, probably a $500 card, right? Does Tag actually do it for less than $19 a card? I don't think so, right? These other companies that say they're so much cheaper, they're $14, $15 a card. And even if, let's say, that, for example, SGC is doing $9 on Bowman, right? They'll do the new set and they'll say, hey, $9 subs. In my head, I go, yeah, but like that $10 difference, is a PSA card gonna sell for that $10 difference? The answer is yes, it is. Now, a lot of you out there might be saying, listen, Josh, we all don't care about value. I'm on board, and I understand that, right? So if you like the way tag looks better than PSA and it's for your PC, do it. I love it, right? For me, I have a 20 plus year old PSA slab in my PC, and I have a number of cards in between that, but I think it's 20. I got it in 04. Okay, so it's 19 years old, right? That's my oldest card. I got it in 04. It's my boy, Carmelo Anthony. Love him. I believed in him more than LeBron. I was wrong, but I love Carmelo Anthony. I always did. I liked his swagger coming out of Syracuse. I enjoyed watching him play ball. The point that I'm making is, for me, PSA is my PC, and I don't mind paying $5 to $10 more per card to have the cards I want, and then I also get more value on my flips. Now, if you're out there saying, Josh, we shouldn't be flipping cards, cool. You play it differently. I get it. And if you love tag, go with tag. But let me ask you this. Is tag going to be around in 5 years? Is HGA going to be around in 5 years? I don't know, but I think PSA is going to be around forever, right? I just don't see PSA going away anytime soon. So even for my PC, I prefer them. But anyway, so he's saying that people want great customer service. I agree. I think people do want great customer service. I think the affordable pricing, I mean, dude, like, think about this, guys. How much money are we spending, like, putting a card into a hermetically sealed case, having it be trackable on the internet so people know if it's legitimate, whether it be from tag or anyone else? $15 to $20 is pretty cheap. PSA just did a promo at $15. I'm sure tag does them somewhere in that ballpark. It's pretty cheap, man. It's hard to complain. For $15, $20 for a card you like, I love it. I don't have a problem with it whatsoever. And even the guy who paid $1,300, you know what he said when he heard that? I said, hey man, we spent a lot of your money. Here you go. And I sent it to him. He saw that. He goes, thanks, bro. I'm so excited. He goes, I'm on cloud 9. The bottom line is people will pay for value as well. HGA were fakers and still are. They never and still don't have a shred of proof that they have anything remotely like computer grading. This is not true, right? Like, this is just somebody who's he's drank the Kool-Aid. Again, tag may be better. That's fine. But the only statement I made is HGA was tagged 2 years ago. And what I mean by that is there were a lot of people saying HGA was going to be great. He's mad that I'm putting the two of those companies together because tag's the best, HGA sucks. He genuinely sounds like somebody who's telling me the Republicans are bad or the Democrats are bad and the other guys are the best and they never make a mistake, which, by the way, is the argument I'm having with this person down here. This person tells me they're not a Democrat, but the Democrats are trying to save us and the Republicans are trying to kill us all. And I'm just like, okay, well, anyway. Long story short, the point is, HGA is trying to do things right. They may be falling short. They may be doing, who knows, right? But the idea that tag, who's been in business for what, a year and a half, like I barely heard of tag in the last 6 months. The idea that tag is doing everything right, I personally don't care. We're 6 months in, right? You can do a lot of things right for a short time. And a short time to me is 5 years, right? And you guys can go, hey, listen, Josh, I hear you, but you've only been doing things for a few years. I get you, which is why you guys still need to see me continue to do well every single day. And if I screw up or I made a big mistake, 2 years doesn't overcome that, right? Unless you've been here the whole 2 years. But in general, like, companies fail within the first 5 years. A lot of companies fail. Now, mind, graded investors, right? Our community, we're not trying to take over, some of the other bigger breakers and bigger submitters. We're just doing what we do. But this guy's saying that tag will overcome PSA. And companies that try to do that too fast break. Not always, but they run the risk. Be my guest, launch a grading company. I was making a joke that I could launch a grading company tomorrow and do a maximum of 5 slabs and I would fill up, because he said, they fill up fast, everybody else fills up slow. Fear that your crappy little slabs are going to drop to $0 when people don't want them anymore. That's all this is. Anyway, so he's saying I should start a company. I'm not going to start a company, right? Like, I think there's good options out there. I would rather just make sure I clean the cards up, help you guys understand how to clean the cards up, etc. I will be there. I will be the face of I told you so. Again, pretty bitter because I haven't once in this whole conversation said that tag should fail. PSA is the blockbuster of grading. That's hilarious, right? Because by saying this, isn't he saying that tag is the red box of grading? I went to college. In college, we studied this. We talked about how Blockbuster failed and what Redbox did to knock them out of business. The main thing is that Redbox eliminated 90% of employees, right? The only person they needed was one person who could service nearly 100 red boxes, and they'd go load up the red boxes. Easy enough. People would do the rest of the work. They were charging $1 per video per day. You guys know now they don't do that anymore. It's like $3 per video per day, and they're charging the same as Blockbuster. They just had to take Blockbuster out to get there. So bottom line is Tag's not taking anybody out. Tag's not undercutting PSA's pricing. Tag is not eliminating the need for employees. Tag has a lot of work to expand to get to even where CGC is, let alone SGC, which, by the way, I hate all these. I like the fact that Tag's name is different, still has the G for grading, but PSA just sounds better than a lot of these. Anyway, moving on. The numbers go down in summer, blah, 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 skyrocket. Okay, good talk. I agree with the points from both sides. All I'm saying is, which protagonist guy touched on it is dethrowing the lackluster grading. If Tag doesn't overtake PSA, causes PSA to switch up and start doing better, so be it. I do still like Tag regardless, just because I think their slabs are fire. So this is where this guy's starting to understand my point, which is, if you're the big dog and somebody comes nipping at your heels, you change, you adapt, right? And so that's my point, right? Like, if this guy likes tags and he wants those slabs in his PC, that's dope, dude. Do it. That's awesome, man. But when you say a company doing 1,000 a month is going to overtake a company doing 1 million a month, I need to understand why you think that's going to happen and what they're going to do. And a realistic time frame is 20 years, right? Because you have to build up people wanting it, and you have to build up like just even the possibility of it, right? Because if you don't have the infrastructure to kick out 6,000, 7,000 cards a day, you're not going to catch up with PSA. The good news is, I mean, throughout this discussion, right? We'll call it a discussion, not an argument. I think Sean felt a little arguey, but it's fine. He likes it. He's excited. I'm on board. He probably works for Tag. I get it, right? He's bought in. He's drank the Kool-Aid. Which, by the way, drinking the Kool-Aid isn't bad. It's just you need, in my opinion, you need to be able to take a step back and say, yes, I did drink the Kool-Aid. Yes, I am overly excited about this. Guys, I know this video is going a little long. Jump through if you need to. I love talking about this stuff. You guys know we talk about it on stream. Again, if you guys are interested, check the links in the description down below. A lot of fun stuff happening here with Graded Investors. So the difference is between us is I won't be happy if Tag fails. I liked competition, right? So I'm just trying to help this guy understand my point of view, because I don't think he understood it, because a lot of guys out there, and I got this with the HGA guys, and I'm now getting it with this Tag guy, thinks that I'm a PSA truther. I am, but I'm not a zealot, if that makes sense. I don't believe in PSA over everyone else forever, always. I just think that based on the numbers, the return on investment, the fact that I can know where I'm at in the process, even though I really can't get a person to talk to me, they at least update that information in the system, and the fact that the pricing is fair compared to everyone else. I really do think PSA's pricing is fair. I mean, you would pay 50% more for something that has better value, right? We all go out and buy nicer clothes because they have better value. We buy nicer shoes. You buy nicer others. There are things that you find value in. I find value in sports cards, right? And so for me, I'll pay a little bit more if I get a little bit more value. But you can see that he says that's fair, I can get behind this, right? So I'm not rooting for Tag to fail. If Tag becomes the best and they're the best option, then that's where I'll go. Tag isn't Redbox. Tag is streaming services. right, we're going to live argue with this guy. Trying to say this in a way that it doesn't come across as like super snooty, but I don't like when people catastrophize. He goes, and you step back and say it's going to be a while, but what you really said was in 20 years. No. I said in 20 years. I said 20 years. I said that, which might as well have been not in our lifetime. No, that's not what I said. I said 20 years, right? Like, look at this guy. Look at Sean here real quick. You're telling me this guy is not going to live 20 more years? Come on, dude. You look like you're like 35. Right? Maybe you're 42. I have no idea, but you're going to live to 80, right? Like most of us are. But yeah, so anyway, so that's kind of what I got for that, guys. Listen, Tag looks like an interesting group. I think that if you have a PC card or two and you want to send them through Tag, send them to me. I'll clean them up, make sure they look good. We'll send them to Tag. I don't have a problem with Tag. What I have a problem with is waiting in lines for a chance to get in, which is where they're at right now. He even said they sell out in 20 minutes, right? Which means that people are probably doing what they did with HGA. I'm closing with this. I know it's been a long video so far. Appreciate you guys checking it out. If you guys are still here, man, drop a like. Appreciate you guys. Tell me that you made it this far. Be like, dude, I got through the rant. That was tough. I get it. The point is, dude, let's send some cards to Tag. I'm with it, right? But even with HGA, people were using 4 or 5 computers, 4 or 5 accounts to try to get into HGA. Bro, I just drop them in the mailbox. They go to PSA, and PSA is rocking their socks off to get them out as fast as possible. So I don't know. I have an opinion. Everybody is allowed to have theirs, but that's my opinion. I think PSA does it the best right now, and I really don't even think it's close. So appreciate you guys again. If you want to send something to Tag, I'm willing to try it with you. I'll make sure the cards look great. That's what I do. But anyway, so real quick, guys. So this is Sports Card Investors. I don't love these guys, but I appreciate that they're content creators. Going into this, just my take on Sports Card Investors. This is that guy who, by night, I invest in sports cards, but by day, I do other stuff and invest in other stuff. I really think that this is his number one business now. He might be doing other things too, but he definitely is a content creator around sports cards. And whether you like him, you find him to be kind of nerdy and weird, it doesn't matter. Bottom line is he's cranking out content, and other buyers, other investors are definitely watching this guy. So let's check it out.
And now it's officially ruined. Let's data dive.
I mean, first off, a little cheesy, but I think it's kind of funny, right? It's a good intro.
Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Data Dive.
One thing to remember, anytime you're watching a video, think about what the person's trying to sell to you, right? And even me, you're like, well, Josh, what are you trying? Listen, I'm trying to sell the fact that I'm a relatively knowledgeable individual that is safe to do business with, right? So if you want to send some cards off to get them graded, I'm hoping that you'll see stuff like this and you go, hey, that Josh guy's pretty chill. He seems like a normal guy, right? Let's send some cards in with him. We see him all the time. Maybe we'll join one of his breaks, right? So I'm very honest about what I'm about. I don't have an app. I don't want you to just send me money. I want to earn your business on different things, if that makes sense. But the main reason I make these videos is just to connect with my community, right? If you guys are watching this and you're not a part of the community, I'd love you to be, but if you just enjoy the videos, no big deal, man. Let me know. Even if you don't like the video, let me know. I'm very curious about people's opinions. Again, I for this video, I didn't think about it a whole lot. I just jumped into it, set everything up. I just wanted to talk about things, but let's hear what Teapot here likes to say, which, by the way, what's up, Teapot? We do have a Teapot in our community as well. Different guys, I believe, but he is big into data, which I love. I'm a big fan of, like, at least having an argument to support, even if you, in my opinion, misuse data, which happens a lot. But I like the fact that he at least tries to say, hey, here's what I've looked at. Based on what I've looked at, here's what I've come up with.
I've powered by Market Movers. My name is Tyler Nethercott, better known as Teapot, and some weeks I even get called Sean Evans down in the comments, and I'm feeling pretty spicy this week. I'm all fired up. I just wish I could get inside the heads of the good folks over at Panini because they've done it. They've officially ruined what was once the best product they had ever made. That's right, I'll give credit where it's due. Select was the best. It was better than Prism. It was better than Optic. It was better than National Treasures. It was just simply the best product, and now it's dead. So we're gonna get into that, and as always, this video is brought to you by Market Movers. With all the Panini Select data you could ever want to track, visit marketmoversapp.com and use promo code DIVE to save 20% off and get your first 7 days free. Now let's get into the...
Okay, so a couple things real quick. So number one, he just made a clickbait statement. Select used to be better than everything, and now it's dead. And what he's doing is he's hooking you into hearing the rest of what he has to say. Also, Market Movers, which you see every single time, right? Market Movers is their app they make money on. I do think that most people know that, but I also believe that they should have to tell you right now, this is our app, this is where I'm pulling the data from, we're sharing it because we think it's great, check it out, you might think it's great as well. But they almost make it sound like they're sponsored by Market Movers, which kind of makes Market Movers better, right? Because, like, hey, they're sponsoring something on the internet. Also, they sponsor us, which makes us better, but they're sponsoring their fucking selves, right? That would be like me stopping and saying, hey guys, this was brought to you by GradedInvestors Breaks. Check us out on Thursday. I mean, check them out, because it's definitely not... Anyway, you get what I'm saying. Let's keep it moving.
The data. Okay, so the first thing I want to do is just jump in and take a look at this checklist and look at some of the designs. I'm looking at 2022 Select Football, which is already released. We've got basketball coming out, not too far out. And I just always love the design on Select. They always kind of appeal to me.
I agree. Select
it used to
amazing.
be really simple. You had a few different levels, but this year they've changed something big and they've just taken it a step too far. So this is a really nice design. These beautiful landscape cards scrolling down. It's kind of what you'd come to expect from Select. I always like the inserts in Select. To me, they have actually the best inserts of any products. I know Optic gets a lot of praise, and I do like a lot of the Optic.
Yes, and he is correct. Optic is the best, right? Optic inserts are incredible, but no lie, Select does have great inserts. I actually am putting together the neon set, the neon... I'm gonna forget what it's called, but anyway, the neon set in it, great looking set, absolutely.
Optic ones, but these ones to me are a little bit more elegant, a little more sophisticated. Optic sometimes a little bit campier, not necessarily a bad way. So scrolling down, I'll show you where things go wrong, and that is that reason number one, why Select is officially ruined. They added a 5th level to the base checklist. You heard me right. Last year, for whatever reason, they added a 4th level. And we lamented it on this show, on the SCI channel, and we complained about it having too many parallels and too many levels. So obviously, what did they do? They took our feedback to heart and they presented us with a big old "we don't care" and added a 5th level. So let's take a look at another famous Teapot spreadsheet. And I'm gonna break this down in a little bit more detail. And here's another thing that's really confusing. I don't know why they did this. There's obviously historically been the breakdown where the rookies were in every level. So you had concourse, premier level, and then you had field level or courtside in basketball. And you would have the key rookies in all 3 of those levels. So you could get one in each checklist, and then you had a handful of parallels. Now they switched it to where it's 5 levels, and the players, seemingly for no rhyme or reason, are not in any particular level. So let's take Chris Olave, for example, here, and these blue, lines filled in here, these blue sections, that basically means they're in that level. That's how I kind of built this matrix out. And he's in all 5 of them. Chris Olave is in all 5 levels. But then if I go down to Kenny Pickett, he's in 4 of them, but he's not in club level, which is now the middle one, by the way. So you have concourse, premier level, club level, suite level, which is the new one, and field level. Desmond Ritter, same thing. He's not in the club level for some reason. Drake London, he's in 4 of them, but he's not in premier level.
So real quick, guys, when you're looking at what he's sharing here, which it's really cool that he put this together. Like I said, I really appreciate Teapot because, again, whether you agree with him or don't, which I'm not saying I do or don't, I largely do on what he's saying so far, but he puts together the data, man. He lets you check it out. Easy to see, like, you're like, okay, so the blue is where the guy is, the white is where the guy's not. Help me understand this, guys. Brock Purdy, definitely one of the chase guys, right? So Brock Purdy's a chase guy. Kenny Pickett's a chase guy. Why is Chris Olave in all 5 levels? Kenny Pickett's in 4, and Brock Purdy's in 2 levels? If you pull a Brock Purdy, man, you probably want to hold on to it because, like, people are going to figure out that these are shorter print than they think because, again, like, Brock Purdy only club level for retail. So if you're buying retail blasters hoping to hit a Brock Purdy, you got 1 shot out of the 3 that are available in retail. And to what he's saying, like last year they bumped up club level, right? So they added club level in 21, and that gave us 4 levels, but they only put 3 levels, right? Concourse, Premier, Club in retail. Field level you could only hit in hobby, which I get that they're trying to make hobby special. But if you want hobby to be special, why are we printing retail, right? I preferred back in 2020 when they first printed retail. So first year of retail 2020, they said, hey, we're going to have everything in this. It's going to be crazy hard to hit a silver non-die cut of a field level. And all the parallels are going to be die cuts, and you go, cool. All right, previous years you had die cuts in hobby. Die cuts aren't as popular in general in the hobby, so you're going to make retail die cuts. Okay, perfect. I don't have a problem with that. I don't think anybody did. We kind of enjoyed it. You could still hit your field levels. You knew the field levels were good hits, but now they've taken away field levels. They've taken and added another one, suite level, which I'm like, I don't even know. At this point, we're just adding levels. But the other thing they did this year that I kind of don't like is they turned the field levels into panoramic or sideways cards. So instead of seeing it kind of up and down, you now have a panoramic card, which people in general aren't as big of a fan of. I think some of them look really cool for sure, but like, it's not what we like. It's not what we're used to. Anyway, moving on. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. I think it's a big switch. I'm not a fan of it. Adding the 5th level, they're just adding a lot more cards to chase. And, I mean, I'd really love to hear the explanation of why, like, Kenneth Walker is missing from the 2 middle levels. So you can only get Kenneth Walker Concourse. So you're opening retail, you'll never hit a Kenneth Walker club level. It doesn't make any sense. That's the more rare one. And you can't get a Kenneth Walker of that. It just doesn't make sense to me.
Same with Christian Watson, but he's also not in field level. And you can go down the list here, and I think what's really surprising, and I don't know if this has to do with the fact that Panini was planning this product for a long time, and this is why, but look at Brock Purdy, who's obviously one of the chases in this product, if not the chase in this product. He's only in 2 of the levels. So he's in the club level and the field level, which are harder to hit, by the way. Incrementally, the higher you go up the list, the fewer of those cards there are. So what I've done here is I've put how many parallels, which is reason number 2 why this is destroyed, how many parallels each of these levels has. Starting with Concourse, 40 parallels. Just on the Concourse level, you have 40 parallels. Premier level, 39. Club level, 37. Suite level, 21. And field level, 14. That means if you want to go rainbow chasing for Chris Olave, you want to get one of every parallel, including the black 1 of 1s. That's 151 unique cards between the 5 levels and the parallels that he has.
This is what I appreciate about T-Pop, man. I love that. I love the fact that he goes, look, let me show you what the data is telling us, right? And so this, you can't argue that, right? Like, he did the math, he figured it out, unless you think his math's wrong. But let's assume his math is right. You go, that's kind of interesting. But why? Listen, I'm not Panini. I am not going to tell them how to do this right. But do you think there's more people chasing Chris Olave, or do you think there's more people chasing Kenny Pickett? And if you believe the way I believe, which is there definitely going to be more people chasing rainbows with Kenny Pickett. There's going to be more people chasing rainbows with Brock Purdy, Zappy, right? Quarterbacks in general just get a little more chase. At the end of the day, I do think that Olave will be chased. I think there's a ton of Saints fans out there. I think the guy is incredibly talented. I actually really like him. I like Watson. For wide receivers, Williams looks good. I'm trying to think of the other guy, the guy for the Jets. He looks really good too. But why 151 parallels for him, and then Brock Purdy gets 51 parallels? Like why would you do that? What's the benefit? It feels like a net loss, because now the guy who wants to go chase and have some fun with Brock Purdy only gets to go after 51, but the Kenny Pickett guy gets to go after 114. And the Chris, it just doesn't seem well planned out.
Yes, 151 different cards. That is more than most rookies have from 90s products across all their products. If you go back and you look at them, good luck, chasing down 151 distinct Kobe Bryant rookie cards. You probably could. There might be that many, but that would be it. There's 151 different Olaves just in the base checklist of Select this year, and so. The other thing that they did was, historically, the veterans might be in 1 or 2 of the levels, sometimes 3. Well, you've got Tom Brady in all 5 levels. You've got Mahomes in all 5 levels, Burrow in 4 of the levels. So I was just kind of breaking this down to show how many parallels there are of each of these guys within each of these levels just for the base checklist. So in my opinion, this is way too much. We've talked about this in the past. I like going after the rainbow. I think it's fun to chase that. I don't think a product should ever have more than 2 one-of-ones, ideally just 1 one-of-one, but 2 at the most from a base checklist that you would go after. Well, that's not the case with Select this year. And I'm going to pop this open, and you can see here, I tracked down and counted how many base one-of-ones each of these guys has, just from the base checklist. So those 5 levels, how many one-of-ones? Chris Olave, if you want to go rainbow chasing, you're going to have to find 12 different one-of-one cards from that base checklist across those 5 levels. And going down the list, you can see Kenny Pickett's got 9, Desmond Ritter's got 9, Brock Purdy only 4 from that base checklist. And then obviously you've got Brady and Mahomes also with 12 each, since they're both on those runs. So what happens here? People buy these boxes.
So real quick, guys, just to clarify something with what he's saying. So he's saying that Tom Brady has 12 base one-of-ones, right? So there's 5 levels, different one-of-ones, including ones you can get from retail, which, just to show you guys, I mean, we did pull a retail one-of-one. I ended up buying this from the person who pulled it, but it is kind of a cool one-of-one. But there is the base one-of-one for retail, then you have the hobby one-of-one for that same level, right? Which this one right here is the club level, correct? Yeah, this is club level. And so this does not include inserts and parallels, right? Because you still have, if they're in any of the parallel sets, those can have one-of-ones as well. So he's saying base one-of-ones 12, but there are a lot more, if that makes sense. So a lot of people, will say, hey, I don't like this. I don't mind it. I don't mind having a number of different one-of-ones. I do think 12 feels like a lot for one player. But, I mean, there's sets that have those high of one-of-ones. We just don't necessarily always talk about it. XR is one. There's a lot of one-of-ones in XR, and I'm trying to think of some of the other brands, but there's a few of them out there.
Boxes, and they open them, and you go out to YouTube because you want to see what's this product look like when you rip it. And what you see in every single title is kaboom, banger, case hit, massive QB pull, top rookie, top, GOAT pull for Tom Brady or for Patrick Mahomes, and people pull these because there's always big hits. There's so many levels of parallels that even if you hit like a numbered to 49 parallel of Tom Brady or of Kenny Pickett, people are going to be really excited thinking, man, I really scored on this box. I really hit it big. But in reality, that's not numbered to 49. There's many, many, many of these cards numbered to 49 across all these players. And so you have this product that's become very, very watered down, very distilled, and you stack it up against another product like Prism, which has 1 million parallels, and another product like Optic, which has 1 million parallels, and then some of these other lower tier products like Certified or like, some of the other ones that are out there. It's hard to differentiate these. And over time, as these come into the market and they saturate the market, I don't see how a lot of these cards can hold value. I also think it has a really big negative impact on the ones that should, on some of the lower serial numbered ones like the golds to 10 and other things, because it's competing now with so many other cards. So it makes it especially hard from one year to the next to know what you're comparing when it's not apples to apples, because 3 years ago, there was really only a gold numbered to 10, and now there's like, well, let's look at the data. I put it together. I counted how many parallels there are numbered to 10 or less, so under 11, numbered to 10 or less. Chris Olave has 51 parallels from Select that are numbered 10 or less within that base checklist. So you hit a gold Olave, or you hit an orange whatever Pulsar to 7, or you hit the gold bubbles or whatever they're calling it to 10. It seems like a big hit, but it's in reality, if you stack up and you count all those print runs, it's numbering out, obviously 50, let's call it 51, like 500 different cards, underneath that threshold. So that's obviously problematic. And then I went down through the entire checklist. So I'm going to jump back over here to Beckett real quick. And this is obviously the base checklist, but then if I go to autographs, for example, right? If I go to memorabilia, if I go to inserts, and I keep scrolling down the list, each of these also, in many instances, has parallels, and a lot of these rookies and other key veterans are also in those checklists. So when I come back over here, Chris Olave has 37 total one-of-ones on the entire Select checklist. 37 one-of-ones. Trevor Lawrence did last year have 38 one-of-ones. So this isn't something new. Last year was when they really, really blew things open, and they obviously inserted the club level, which was the new 4th level last year. They added suite level this year. At this point, I don't know how anybody could justify buying this product and feeling really good about it, except that there's the initial euphoria of this. So what I mean by that is people are pulling these, they're going to get really excited. A bunch of them are going to hit the market, but over time, as you have this card numbered to 49 and then numbered to 47 and then to whatever, in fact, we can jump over, and I'm over on Cardboard Connection, and you can see really right in front of us all these different parallels, and many of them are not numbered. Of course, you've got zebra prisms and tiger prisms, which are supposed to be case hits, and then you have die-cut versions of many of these as well, basically the same card, just with parts of the corners cut off, and you just keep scrolling down. So how do you know when you hit an orange prism to 49 or a red disco prism to 49 or a blue and orange?
What he's not saying is that any of the cards that are die cuts are retail, right? And so I don't know where Teapot stands, but he does seem like a little bit of a snob in the sense of Select was supposed to be better, right? It was supposed to be better than everyone else. And the issue is that the moment they decided to take Select from a hobby-only product to hobby retail, they watered it down. The moment they did that, right? Because they had to add additional parallels. Now, I do agree with him that listen, there's 20% more, 15-20% more parallels than last year, right? And last year was a lot of parallels because they added a whole new level, but they added a new level, and so you've added a ton more parallels. But I think the biggest thing is that for him, he wishes that this was a hobby-only product. For me, I wish that they made retail valuable the way they've made hobby, right? Hobby is valuable, but they removed all field levels from retail, and I think that's a terrible decision. There shouldn't be cards, and I'm talking about like a base card, right? I'm talking about a base field level isn't available in retail. I'm not talking about the die cuts. I'm not talking about the numbered cards, because I get that Panini has better hits in hobby, right? With tops, for example, right? Let's take Bowman Chrome. Bowman Chrome retail, you can hit the same hits as you hit in hobby. The hit rate is lower. Hobby has guarantees. But in Panini, there are cards that you'll just never hit in retail. If you go buy a retail Prism box, you cannot pull any of the case hits. You cannot. They don't exist. Retail has its own case type hits. So I get that Panini does it differently, but I do think that you should be able to hit every base card, whether you buy retail or hobby, because they're making this set a set that's set builders, people who just want all the base cards, right? They don't want the silvers, they don't want the blues, the greens, the purples, the dragon scales, the anything else. They don't want it. What they want is they just want the entire base set. And to put together this particular base set, you have to buy hobby boxes. And you have to buy hobby boxes to hit the hardest to hit ones. So I think it takes away from collectors, just my opinion. If you're going to go retail, make it something that you can actually put together the complete set in retail, the base set.
Prism die cut to 35, that's something that anybody is going to want long term. Does any collector want that card long term? Does it clash with the jersey? Is it something that's iconic? It doesn't check any of the boxes anymore. They basically just taken different colors, thrown them onto a card, put a prismatic effect on there, made another version of it by cutting parts of the corners off, and it gets people really excited, but I think it is a huge, huge, huge deception. So another reason why I think this is really frustrating is I'm going to come back over here and I'll come back to this insert list, is that many of these inserts also have parallels. Now, when you look at one like this, the artistic selections checklist, I think 2 parallels is actually like the threshold for acceptability within an insert checklist. Having a gold to 10 and a black 1 of 1 from an insert checklist, that doesn't upset me. I don't know that you need to have so many different inserts, and Select has a lot of them.
So here's where he and I agree and disagree because of the way he's saying it. So artistic selection is a case hit, right? I don't think case hit should have more than 3, right? Out of 25, out of 10, 101s. Totally fine for me. He's saying 2, he likes black and gold. I don't have a problem with that thought process. We're splitting hairs. But let's say like a My House, right? To me, a My House is just, it's kind of a part of the base set damn near. So having all of the different options, just like you do on a base Josh Allen as a My House Josh Allen, totally fine. It's when you take case hits and you start doing that to them that it becomes negative, in my opinion. And I really love what Optic does. So Optic has the downtown. We're going to speak about the downtown specifically. I know they have other ones as well. But the downtown is available in retail, but you will only hit the downtown, okay? But then in hobby, you can hit a black Pandora downtown. You can hit out of 25. You can hit a gold downtown out of 10, and you can hit the gold vinyl 1 of 1 downtown. I love that, right? Hobby has a little bit bigger ceiling, has some parallels that are super tough to hit. It's awesome, dude. So awesome. We actually pulled a Josh Allen Black Pandora downtown on the channel. And to the guy who hit that, congratulations, what a sick hit. We pulled a ton of downtowns in retail. It gives retail a really nice ceiling. They're hard to hit. Every 20 to 25, 30 boxes, you'll hit one. And there are some other case hits, Rookie Kings, and then Blazers. But having case hits have a little bit more in hobby, I think is great, because hobby boxes cost a little bit more, and so there should be a little bit higher ceiling there. But I think that's specific to hobby boxes and not necessarily to everything, if that makes sense, and specific to case hits.
So if I scroll down, a lot of the same guys on those checklists as well. You see a lot of them only do have 2, but then you get to this Neon Icons checklist, which is actually a pretty cool looking insert. And for some reason you have Prism, which is silver, you have Zebra, Tie-Dye, Gold, Green, Snakeskin.
Right, now Neon Icons is the set I'm putting together, so if anybody has a Neon Icon, let me know, but I bought most of them. I think I'm almost good. How many are there total? I want them to scroll down. But that's just a regular parallel, or insert, right? Like, you get a couple of those per box. They're not available in retail, so it is a hobby exclusive, but it's not a rare hit. It's a couple of them per box. Nothing rare about it. So having some, parallels you can hit of that insert, I think it's kind of cool. I think it's a good idea. But it's not, anyway, he's going to get negative on it. It's not a case hit. And I think he's missing the difference between cards that are case hits, which already have a ton of value, and cards that are parallels. I'm buying those neon icons, $2-3 shipped, $5 shipped. I mean, they are cheap. So
green and black to 2, and the black prism. Why does this insert have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 parallels, whereas the other ones only have 2? It's a consistency issue. It's really, I can't wrap my head around it. Maybe I'm too much of a creature of pattern or something, but I want these products to be intuitive. I want to know what I'm chasing, and it's not consistent from one level to the next or from one insert to the next. Same thing when you scroll over. I'm going to go and look at the autograph checklist, and a lot of these have a whole bunch of parallels as well, and this gets really confusing. Jumbo rookie signature swatches prism checklist. You have whites and coppers and neon orange pulsar, but this one doesn't have Sauce Gardner or these other guys. Neither does the copper. So you start getting into these kind of funky exceptions. But then look at this: black prism, brand logo black prism, NFL shield black prism, tag black prism, and you think, okay, well, that's 4 of those, and those are all kind of uniquely different, but not really. When you scroll down, you see the same thing on the jumbo signature swatches checklist, and you keep going down and you see another one with the same exact thing: prime selections prism signatures checklist. Why? Why make all these different ones and have each of them all have 1 of 1? The reason, I think, is that because breakers, when they're opening this, can get really, really pumped because they're consistently delivering value when they open a case of this. They're probably hitting a 1 of 1 in every single case at this rate, or if not every case.
So this is where you start to see someone's bias. So like, oh yeah, this is for breakers. Listen, I don't think that Panini does a whole lot for the breakers, right? I do breaks, I do personal rips. At the end of the day, this is for everybody, man. If you go rip a box and you hit a 1 of 1, which you should not hit, those are hard to hit. But because there's now, like he showed, something like 18 or 20 or 25 1 of 1s per guy, you now have a shot. You have a shot to hit a 1 of 1, and you feel special because there's only one of this pattern of this card made. But when you start to look at it, it feels a little less good. It doesn't change the fact that when you hit it, you feel good. I don't know why he's attributing it to breakers. Yes, it does apply to breakers, but it applies to anybody who opens up a box. If you choose to open up a box of Select, the odds of hitting a 1 of 1 are substantially higher than they have been in the past.
At least every few cases, and they can get super excited, and some of them rip their shirts off, and they can say what a great product this is. But when you stack up this card against 44, 47 different other 1 of 1 parallels, how special is it? I don't think it's very special anymore. Now, the last thing I was going to mention, I've talked about product consistency across different sports. One of the things that drives me crazy, especially with Panini products, and I love Panini, I'm not trying to bash Panini, but this does drive me crazy. Why do we...
I'm not trying to bash Panini, but what'd your mom teach you about everything that comes before but?
have different parallels from one sport to the next within the same product. When I look at Prism, if you're going to make Prism football and Prism basketball and Prism baseball unlicensed and Prism EPL soccer and Prism UFC, why aren't the parallels the same across them? Why is there a gold vinyl Prism to 5 in football, but then a gold vinyl 1 of 1 in optic and no gold vinyl in Prism basketball? Why do they do that? Is there no...
So I actually kind of agree with this for a couple of reasons. One, I mean, consistency is good for the average consumer, right? Like most of us are not memorizing what's in each set. So when you see a gold vinyl, it's good to know that, hey, that's a 1 of 1 or that's out of 5. So even if Prism it's out of 5, optic it's a 1 of 1, I'm good with that as long as it's consistent. To add to what he's saying, and he may get to this, but to add to what he's saying, I actually got some stained glass cards from baseball, and I got some stained glass from racing. Turns out they're not case hits. They're inserts. Why do you have, and they're the same print, they look the same as the case hits for basketball and the case hit for football. Why do you have something that's a case hit in one product, and in another product, it's a standard insert that you hit, 1 or 2 per box? I think that's kind of shitty. That's just my opinion. I mean, you designed that one up, you made it cooler than the rest of them, and in one product they're hard to hit, and in another product you just freely giving them away. It's weird.
True black, just basic plain true black parallel in football, one of one. You have like the blue finite or the black finite, black shimmers. I would like to see that made consistent from one sport to the next, so that if you're a multi-sport collector, again, you know exactly what you're going for from one product to the next. So I jump over to basketball. This is yet to release, the select basketball checklist, but here we have concourse, we have premier level, and we have courtside. 3 levels. Perfect. That's amazing. Why does football have 5? This is completely confusing. Why are there still only 3 levels in basketball and 5 in football? Again, it's this product consistency issue, and it's really, frankly, frustrating to me. So we jump over here, and you can see, I will show you the designs of these different levels. Again, I think many of them look pretty good. Here you have concourse silver, you have the club level silver, premier level. Premier level is probably my least favorite one this year. The suite level to me looks really nice. And field level, I guess, you have that sort of landscape. Some people don't like landscape cards, so that's a little bit, controversial in that regard. But I wanted to make sure that you knew we added many of these cards and the key rookies and the parallels and all of these things to market movers. So if you want to track them, you can certainly do that within here. That's really all I have for today. I want to know what you think all of this. And if I can be honest, I wouldn't mind if Select were this kind of loaded product with tons of parallels and hits. This is just too much. If that's the brand identity and they're trying to have a higher end product, in some ways it actually makes sense that the vast majority of what you would pull out of that product is a hit. That's not a bad experience for somebody who likes to open boxes or buy into breaks, but they've just gone overboard. And the idea of a parallel heavy product is fine. Make them thoughtful. No ugly parallel should ever make it past the designers. And we don't have to have 10 parallels of every insert, just have 1 or 2 like I said before. So sometime in the coming weeks, I've got this in my head kind of swirling around, I want to make a video about how the manufacturers can design the ultimate product, how they can fix some of these things and right the ship. And if you have ideas for that, I'd love to hear them down below in the comments. I might even give you a shout out for some great ones in that video. So until then, would you do me a favor, like this video, subscribe, hit the bell icon, and thanks so much for watching. Until next time, happy investing, keep on collecting, and make sure to have fun.
All right, guys. So appreciate you guys coming out, checking out the video. For me, what I'm looking for from you guys, give me feedback. Let me know what you guys think. What do you guys think of my little hobby shop here? Sorry, I'm going to kind of play with this and set this thing up. I meant to have this set up beforehand, but there you go, man. Look at the shop. This is not my shop, but I've thought about opening a hobby shop. It'd be kind of fun. But let me know what you guys think in the comments down below, man. Do you like the video? Do you guys like a longer video like this? Do you prefer something a little shorter? And let me know what subjects you want me to talk about in the future. Like I said, I think I could easily make one of these a week, one of them a month. It really just kind of comes down to, is there something out there you guys want me to talk about? Is there something interesting? And do I want to sit down and talk about something for an hour? So I know this is a longer video. Appreciate you guys checking it out. Drop a like if you guys can. And I'll see you guys in the next one.